Hello everyone, welcome to this basic continuous integration and continuous deployment video where we'll be deploying with GitHub Pages. So basically what we are going to do is we're going to use GitHub Pages to deploy our web application. As you can see here, we have our deployment link. So if I go to this link, you will see that this is the deployed web application that we developed and published. So that's what we're gonna do in this video. So let's get started. So first thing is, what is GitHub Pages? So it's a free hosting service provided by GitHub for static websites. So now at this moment, we can only deploy static websites. If you have a dynamic website, then we can't do this using GitHub Pages. We'll have to rely on either TeamCity or AWS. But this is a good place to start to understand the basics of continuous integration and continuous deployment. Another thing is we can deploy content directly from your GitHub repo. So if you have a repository where you have your code base, where you are developing a web application, you can basically deploy directly from your GitHub. It also allows custom domains for personalized URLs. For example, right here, as you can see, this URL is basically made by GitHub. So if we would like to use a customized link, then I can also do this as well. Now, the next thing is, what is deployment? So deployment basically means making your application or website available for users to access. As you can see here, this is a publicly accessible link. So if I provide you this link, anyone can access this link from anywhere. So that is deployment. For static websites, this means hosting files on a platform like GitHub Pages. As I mentioned earlier, that we are using GitHub Pages for hosting. Next, we have continuous integration. What is this? So changes in your code are automatically built and prepared for deployment. So if you make any changes that I will show you in this video, if I make any changes to my website, we will have this automatically built and prepared for deployment. So that means you don't have to do this anything manually. Whenever you have a change in your code, it will be automatically taken care of by GitHub Pages. And then we have continuous deployment. So updates are deployed automatically. So whenever you make a change for basically deploying that change for this particular website, again, this will be handled by GitHub Pages. So whenever we have an update, updates are deployed automatically after changes are pushed to the repository. So whenever I'm going to push my code to the repository, I will have these changes directly available to this deployed site. So we don't have to do anything manually. Okay, so that's the idea here. So now we will go over this, and how do we do this step by step. So let's go over the steps. Now there are some requirements as well. So you must have some understanding of Git commands like git add, git commit, git push. You also need to have VS Code installed. You should have a GitHub account, and your GitHub account should be linked to your local computer. And you should have a basic understanding of HTML. So just a basic site using like username, password, confirm password stuff. Okay, so let's start. So in order to get started, we will first need to create a GitHub repo. So let's do that first. So I'm going to go ahead and first create a GitHub repository. So I'm already in my GitHub, so I'll just go and create one. So let's create a new repository. So I'm going to create a new one. And let's call this, for example, something like test_2. I'll make it public. I'm not going to add a README file, just a basic repo. And I'm going to clone this repo. So in order to clone this repo, I'm going to copy this link. And now I'm gonna go to my computer to create a folder, and I'm going to clone this project in that folder. Okay, so we already did the steps. We've created a basic website, and then we're going to clone this. So let's go ahead and clone this. So I'm going to go to my desktop, and here I'm going to create a new folder, and let's call this oh, let's call this GitHub Pages. Okay, and then I'm going to clone this here. So for that, I'm gonna open my terminal. If you're using Mac or Windows, the process is pretty much similar. So I'm gonna go to my desktop, and then I'm going to go inside this folder, which is GitHub Pages. So cd GitHub Pages. Okay, so I'm already inside this folder. So now I'm going to do the clone. So git clone, and then paste that link that we copied. And this is going to clone that test2 repo in this folder, as you can see it right here. Obviously, as you can see, it's here that it says you appear to have cloned an empty repository. This is fine because we want to start with an empty repo. Okay, so now the next thing is we're going to open our Visual Studio Code, and then I'm going to open that project. So open folder, and I'm going to go to my desktop, and let's find that GitHub Pages. Let's check GitHub projects, GitHub Pages, and test2. So that's the name of our repo that we created in our GitHub. So I'm going to open that. So as you notice, there is nothing in here inside this folder. There's nothing. So I'm going to create a HTML file. So I'm going to call this index.html. And here I'm going to start developing my website. So the one I showed you earlier, the basic username and password stuff. So let's go ahead and copy that code. Even if you don't understand the HTML part, that's fine. We'll just go over the basic stuff here. So we created an index.html file, and here I'm going to copy and paste this code. So basically this will allow us to create a basic sign up page like this guy here. So that's what we're gonna do basically. So let's go ahead and paste this in our VS Code. So this is our VS Code in here. I'm gonna paste this code, and that's it. So before I push this code to my repo, I'm going to first run this, and we can do this using go live feature. If you don't see the go live, basically that means you must have that extension. So that extension is basically a live server. So if you have live server, then you will have the go live option enabled for you. So if I now click on go live, this will launch my site. I think probably you can't see it since I'm not sharing everything. So let's try to share this here. So this is the code that I wrote, and this is what it generates, and I can see it from my local server. And that's what we're gonna deploy using GitHub Pages. Okay, so let's go to my code. So this is my index.html file, and this is what we're gonna push. So in order to push this code, I'm going to open my terminal. So this is the new terminal. You can change it to bash, or you can use the default one. So I'm going to change it to bash. And here I'm going to first do git add. Okay. After git add, so now we are ready to commit. So I'm going to say git commit. So for example, I'm going to say index.html file. Okay, and then I'm going to do the push so that this will be pushed to my repo. I'm going to say git push. Okay, so this code has been pushed to my GitHub repo. Now let's go ahead and check our GitHub repo to make sure that we see this code there. So I'm gonna go to my, let's close this one and go to the code. Let's refresh this page. And as you can see here, one commit, and the code that I wrote is available in my repo. So that's great that our code is available. Now we're gonna go to set up our GitHub page. That's the next step. So we made these changes, and now we are going to go to settings. In settings, we're gonna go to pages. And here you can see the build and deployment part. So we are deploying from branch. So our branch is the main branch right now. So if I go to code, you will notice that this is the main branch. So I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to say that we're going to deploy from that branch. So that's our main. Okay. And root basically means that is your root project because we didn't create any other folder. So the index.html file is directly under the root. So we'll save this. And that's pretty much it. So once you set it up, and now we're going to go to actions. And you can see that the process has started. So this is running on the cloud. So your deployment is getting ready. Okay. So build is working right now. And then it will have the report build status, and then you're going to have the deployment. So the CI/CD both are working right here. So the continuous deployment right now is going through the continuous deployment. So we pushed our code, and then this is our deployment. Okay, so if I now click on our link, as you can see, this is the code that I wrote, and this link is publicly available. If I go and open another browser, I can access this site. Okay, so that is the idea of continuous integration and continuous deployment. So now I'm just going to show you that, okay, what if I make a change and see if that deployment is automated. So I'm going to click here. First of all, you can see that this is the one workflow run right here. This is the one that we just completed. And now I'm going to go to my code to make a change. So let's go to my code base, which is right here. So right now we have a username and password. So I'm going to do is I'm going to copy the password part and create a confirmation password section right here. And I'm going to change this. I'm going to, instead of saying for password, I'm going to say for confirm password. I'm going to change the ID. The ID will be password. And the text that we want to display is going to say confirmed password. Confirmed password. So that's the changes I'm gonna make. It will have a confirmation password section. So first, let's test to make sure this is showing up on our local server before we go for the deployment. So if I go live, it should show me the changes. Probably you can't see it, so we'll show you that quickly. So this is showing in my local server that this is the new change confirmation. Confirm, actually I should say confirm your password, not confirm password. So I'll change that. Okay, I'm gonna say confirm password. Okay, so that should be it. So now I'm going to push this code. So first let's do git add, git commit. I'm gonna say updated index dot file, commit message, and then I'm going to do a git push. So since I pushed this code back to my repo, now I should have a new deployment with the latest changes that I just made here. I'm going to stop and go to the repo. So I'm going to close this, and as you can see that there is another workflow right here. Build is complete. And I'm going to wait for the deployment to start. So you can see deploying to GitHub Pages. So that said, whenever you make changes, the purpose of continuous integration and continuous deployment, that it should be automated. So now if I go click on this link, it doesn't show, probably have to refresh this, and you can see here. So whenever I make a change, that changes should be available to our clients so that they can see the latest changes. And that is the idea of continuous integration and continuous deployment. Okay, and we completed this using GitHub Pages. So hopefully this makes sense how we can do continuous integration and continuous deployment using GitHub Pages. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye.